Well, hiya, Toots. It's me, Brad, aka your Andromeda and cosplay queen, 1014. And Sir Quacks, looking a little tired over here. We would like to thank all our early birds, night owls, and everyone else in between for setting your clocks for 1014 and coming on down to the warehouse. What are we here to do today? We're here to review the episode 4 of Rupaul's Drag Race Down Under. And I believe this was a marketing challenge. All right, everybody. So I'm gonna do a little bit something differently because I was stupid tired last night. I barely remember anything. So I'm just gonna watch it and pause it and then like give my like reaction and stuff like that. And if I have an earphone in my ear between cuts, that's why. Shall we just get right up into the review, everybody? Let's do this. Okay, so the girls come into the workroom the next day, and Karen is crying because she sent Anita home. She's been crying a lot during these like eliminations. Again, you're gonna see them in like not like you're gonna see them soon. So like, get your head in the game. Scarlett's crying. A lot of people were crying about Anita. Kita was all like, "Well, maybe she should have ridden my coattail in this competition." But she was a little sad that her friend and business partner had to go home. But the two New Zealanders want to take out the rest of the Aussies. So let's see how that goes, right? And afterwards, they kind of like sit down and have a little talk, and etc. etc. Kind of came for Kita's outfit a little bit, and she wasn't really happy with the negative critiques that she was getting during the critiques. Oh my gosh, Brad. So she kind of had a little bit of a tiff because she's never experienced the critiques yet, and she was just like whatever about it. Well, she's still young, so she'll like figure it out. So we get to the next day, and they come around the table, and they're kind of recapping about how etc. was a little pressed, crossed, that she was in the bottom. They kind of highlighted that, and she just like had a big little hissy fit. I'm sorry, I had to fix my lighting. So, and then etc. like really came for Kita's outfit, and Kita pretty much said it, you know, right. She's all like, "Well, I was still safe, and you were still in the bottom, so get over it." What she does, she was like coming for people and coming for people up in the confessions. Not cute, but again, she's still young. Then we get a little Rue message. And then she kind of pretty much hints, if you can't sell yourself, how in the hell can you sell something else? Then we get good day, good day, good day. Rupaul walking up in the workroom, and she reveals the mini challenge, which is the rating challenge, because rating is what? That's right, y'all, fundamental. So one of the pit crew boys comes out, stands there with the golden pink, oh my goodness, the pink sunglasses. And we get some good reads. Scarlett was kind of like pointed a little bit. Maxie was okay. Kita was alright. Art Simone was pretty funny. I liked the they them read, etc. That was pretty funny. Karen from finance was okay. Scarlett Adams wasn't that great, but I mean, I laughed at most of them because like I like vulgar. So a little foreshadowing here. We are gonna get some more vulgar, but I like vulgar. I don't know why everybody's so afraid of vulgar. Like, they can get away with saying that stuff over there because they're like pretty much uncensored. Anyways, so after the reading challenge, our Simone wins, and RuPaul says we're gonna do a maxi challenge of a marketing challenge, and everybody has to sell their own brand of a yeast spread. And I'm like, what? I like the fact that they all have to do like the same product, because that like really evens the field out of creativity of who is like a top and a bottom with creativity. And I don't know why it had to be yeast spread though. It's so like they were had a problem with vulgarity, but like, come on, yeast spread, that's a little vulgar, no? Anyways. So after that, the girls are getting ready, or not getting ready, but writing their jokes and writing their skits, you know, for their marketing commercial. And Karen and Maxie don't want to get in their head too much. So they're kind of like, I gotta make something really funny, I gotta make something work, etc., etc. Was pretty, you know, confident, like she has been in the competition. We didn't really get too much from Kita or Electra on this, so I don't know. Let's just continue and see what else is new, girls. Do you see me as somebody who's shady? Karen, yes. That was funny. I really like what Scarlett's wearing in the workroom. That design, that 80s design is so cute. I love it. All right, so when we get into the marketing commercial where they have to film with Michelle Visage and Suzanne Paul, who is like the infomercial queen out in Australia. Now, I can't remember the like infomercial person here, but we have had a couple of them who are well known. So I love when people like this come up into the competition to give some direction. However, she was just not ready for this vulgarity. Has she seen the show? Like, I don't think she's seen the show, girl. All right, let's see how these queens do. Yes? Frankie up first, and Michelle and Suzanne were trying to give her more direction, and she was all like, well, I can do this. I can probably win this because I know I can take direction well. But when you have to be directed so much, it's probably not going to go over very well. But it does help to show that you do listen. So that's a good brownie point. And her product name was Discharge. And every time she said Discharge, Suzanne was just like, she had the cringe face. Can we make that into a meme, please? That was funny. And then we had Art Simone, who was looking like super fabulous in that outfit, by the way. I need that in my closet. Her infomercial was about the, oh gosh, Yankee, something like to scare off Yanks, which they refer to as Americans in those countries. And yeah, she was all over the place. And her direction was a little weird, but it's all right. Snatch. And she was making a lot of crude jokes, which I was just like living for, actually. Those are funny as hell. And it made Susan so like uncomfortable. She was like, oh my goodness. And then etc. comes in with a really nice yellow gown. I really liked it. And she was selling yeast, which was called piss. And it was just kind of weird what she was doing. I think she was trying to sell like some kind of like Alaska-esque, you know, stuff where she was all like in that one infomercial where she was selling her perfume or something like that. She was like, rich, naughty, expensive. You know, like that kind of demeanor she was trying to give, but she just didn't do it right. I don't know. And she was just kind of, I don't know, it's just, I don't know. You know, that's her shock. Came in and she was just giving the pit crew direction. As soon as she came in, like there was hardly any introduction to Susan. Bitch got to work. She said, I'm not going home this week, girl. It's not happening. So she really demanded her time and commanded it very well. And there were some funny zingers in there, which they kind of made it look like her RuPaul impersonation was going to come out bad. But I already know because I kind of remember that. Sorry, spoilers. And then they made it seem like Maxie did a pretty bad job too, because she was just kind of standing there and forgetting her lines a lot. So Electra seemed to be doing pretty well in this episode, and her confessional, she's all like, Scarlett doesn't need another win. She needs to get out of her head and focus on her, obviously, because it works out for her when she's actually putting in the work and stuff. And then Maxie was all you know, scared that she did a shit job, she said. And I mean, it showed kind of in her thing. And our Simone seems to be like probing the questions in the workroom while they're getting ready, no? Anyway, so she kind of like asked, she's like, is there anything that you regret while you were in drag or doing anything in drag that you regret? I have done a lot of drunk nights in drag that I mean, I don't regret getting like drunk, but there's a lot of things that I said and did that I shouldn't have said and did. And then I know it's not an excuse, but yeah, I mean, we all do things and say things stupid sometimes. We just have to learn from our mistakes and see if it makes us grow and become a better person from our mistakes. I don't drink anymore. I have not drank since 4/4/2017. So I'm very proud of myself on that. Anyways, back into Drag Race, not about 1014. We get etc. kind of saying, hey, Scarlett, it's gone around online that you've done blackface in drag. So they kind of touch on the subject of that because etc. was all like, yeah, you can be sorry or whatever, but the fact that you took someone's culture to benefit you financially, like, I understand where she was coming from. And then we get Scarlett's side of the story saying how much she regrets doing it. And it seems like she has grown from her mistake. No, she shouldn't have done that in the first place. What she said in her confessional and to the girls, unless she's completely lying for the TVs, I see that she is, you know, sorry for that. And if you guys forgive her, then you can. Nobody should have been doing that in the first place. So we get to the runway, and RuPaul comes out in this really sexy outfit, no? And then it pans down, and I'm like, oh, I don't like the fringe that's in the middle of her crotch. I think the fringe should have, like, gone from, like, hip to hip to make it kind of look like a little capey thing, if you know what I mean. But other than that, I love the top of it. It looks gorgeous. And then we get our judges, Michelle Visage, Reese Nicholson, and one of the very first famous female New Zealand actors, Miss Rena Owen. Hey, she looks gorgeous. Runway category is Finest Shayla in the Bush, and I will be doing the runway fashions in a different video. So we get right into the actual final cut of the infomercials for the marketing challenge. So Electra was first, and she was so funny. Oh my gosh. It kind of bothered me though, because usually when they do these challenges, you can hear the judges laughing or not laughing. So that kind of like threw me off for a minute, like with the first few videos. I'm like, we can't really hear reactions. So it was kind of just like, oh my gosh, did they do well or not? So her commercial was really funny. She got the shit done. Her RuPaul impersonation actually turned out to be really funny. And actually she kind of looked like Willem, just like a smidgen, the way she painted her makeup. And I really like when she was doing charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent. She was all like, this is the only yeast spread that has and talent. That was so funny. Oh my goodness. Ketamine was up next, and that was really funny with the yeastiness. Very good comedic timing. The jokes were there. She made a Divine reference. We also bow down to Divine. She definitely was one of the trailblazers, you know, trendsetters for her drag for sure. And I loved it. She was so funny, and she really like brought the physical comedy too, with like really getting up in there. And I love when she was all like, well, just make you gag, you know, in like a good way. And she was like on the product. That was really funny. I loved it. That was so funny. Okay, so Maxie was next, and she was like a horn dog, something to make you a horn dog. But I didn't really see that. It was just a little underwhelming, a little flat. There were funny zingers in there, don't get me wrong. One thing that I didn't understand is when she was first holding her product, she had like the gremlin hand. I didn't really understand that because in the rest of the scene she didn't have the gremlin hand. I was like, what? I don't get this. Judges were just like, meh about it, on the fence. Da, 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 da. They really did like Ketamine's and Electra's. They didn't really say anything bad about them. Michelle pretty much like pointed out that Maxie kind of struggled on set too, which showed actually in the final product. And caring for finances was just a little weird, because the joke was discharge, and in one of the very first scenes, she untwists, and then the pit crew's all like, "Oof," like as it smells, but then you use it as a creamer that they didn't indicate that it smells when they use it as a creamer or whatever, a facial creamer. I don't know, it was just a little weird to me and a little underwhelming like Maxie's. I mean, they said they kind of liked it and they really, really liked the outfit she was wearing. Like, they really liked that they really liked that she brought that to light because, the Australian fires happen all time, almost every year, and so much wildlife is lost, and firemen, we gotta commend them because they help preserve not only their land but the wildlife and their people. So commands to the firefighters, man. Artist Mode was up next, and they made a reference to somebody she was referencing on the runway, Kathy something. When it came to the infomercial, which I agreed with, was just like kind of manic all over the place. Which it was, and I'm like, I don't know if it's because like Michelle and Rupaul are American. It was just a little too crass, I think. I'm sorry. So, etc., etc. Piss didn't go over very well with the judges. It was kind of a blank, infomercial. I could see where she was going, but like, I don't know. I didn't really feel like it crossed too many lines like Rue and Michelle said, but it was just kind of like, I don't know. I feel like we've seen Alaska do way better at this, and I feel like she was trying to bring what Alaska brought in her infomercials and marketing challenges, and I don't feel that she stepped it up or made it, more, funny rather than vulgar. You know what I mean? Scarlett Adams infomercial, and I thought it was funny, but I can see where the judges were coming from, saying it was like just too much and too vulgar. I think there were some funny zingers of in there though, like the beef curtain ones. Oh my gosh, that was so freaking funny. Sorry, my dog is kind of like coming over here. Say like the camera. So the girl had to go backstage, untuck while the judges deliberate. RuPaul addressed Scarlett Adams about blackface, and Scarlett Adams gave an explanation of why she did it, why she feels, regretful for doing it, explained why she feels regretful. RuPaul said, well, instead of, disqualifying you from the competition or, booting you up, I feel like you learned your lesson, so, congratulations, you're safe. And then we get Elektra with her first win. Finally, Elektra got a win under her belt, and congratulations. Finally, get those girls' head. Get all the girls out of your head, you know what I'm saying? Because look, you're doing good when you do good. So then we learned that Kita is safe, Art Simone is safe, and then Karen from the bottom three is safe, leaving etc., etc., and Maxie Shield to lip sync for their life. And they have to lip sync to Absolutely Everything by Vanessa Amorsi. Now, I feel that Maxie embodied this song more than etc., etc. Yes, it is acceptable to do stunts, flips, splits, all the above. Old McDonald had a farm flips, tricks, and everything was used. That's fine. There's a time and place to do that. This song Especially when the song kept going. I'm like, oh, this is like a feel good song. Like, not exactly like take me to church song, but this is like a, oh my gosh, like, yes, I just want to make everybody feel good. And that's what Maxi was bringing. Like, she was live, connecting with the audience. Yeah, we're feeling good. You know what I mean? And she was actually doing like the ab lib, vocals too, that etc wasn't really doing. I do feel that etc did do a good job, but I just feel that Maxi, yes, did a better job. And we come to find out that Maxi gets to Shantae and stay, and etc has to sashay away. Now, this is finally one of the eliminations I kind of agree with, only because etc was kind of playing this like strategic game of getting in everybody's heads. Unless she's just really young and is just that kind of person. We've all been there. We all grow. So if she's that type of person, like in real life, then yeah, she, watching herself back, she might grow a little bit. Unless she was just putting up a TV persona, producing oneself. I don't really find that an attractive quality when I watch my TV shows. And I think she was kind of just, here. So I believe that this was a good elimination final. What did you guys think of everything this episode? What did you think of the reading challenge? What did you think of the marketing challenge where they had to record their infomercials? What did you think of the runway? What did you think of the judges? What do you think of the lip sync? And etc going home? Let us know in the comments below. It's time for me and my honey to go get a nice dinner. I have been putting this off to make this video, and I know he's really hungry right now, so he might be a little piss pants. Not piss pants, but piss pants. Anyways, here will be social media and all that good stuff. And I, Brad, aka your Andromeda and Cosplay Queen 1014, and Sir Quacks, would like to thank our early birds, night owls, and everyone else up in between for setting your clocks for 1014 and joining us down here at the warehouse. Until next video, which will probably be Drag Race España. They are working as YouTubers to death, aren't they? Toodles!